Well, I'm feeling wired, so it must be Wednesday.
It must be.
Figure out there.
Well, if anything, we could add wine to that mist. That myth. Oh my goodness.
Sounds
That
like she's
mix.
already done so.
Yeah, it's already going down.
Unfortunately, I definitely have not had enough coffee yet this morning. Wine is an after 3:30 kind of a drink.
Is it?
Okay.
Well, that means it's 5 o'clock somewhere in the U.S.
That's true.
I mean, the U.S. I mean, we could go 5 o'clock somewhere all day, but, you know, I'm not that practiced in my skills of consumption. I
Well,
mean,
you know, practice
of water.
makes perfect, don't
Everybody.
they?
Right. Practice exactly perfect. Good morning. This is McKenna Hansen with Wired Wednesday. And in studio today, I have Mr. Mike Bleak. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing great. How are you this morning?
I can't complain.
I can't forgive Mike, actually.
What did I do this time?
You were supposed to get me a job at your uncle's radio station in Alaska, and that never happened.
Oh,
And
well,
he sold it, I think, didn't he?
no, it was Kingman, Arizona, not Alaska. Alaska would be great.
Alaska would be great.
Kingman, Arizona. Are there still people there?
Yes.
Oh, let's dial down the snark a little bit here.
I was there. I came home. Yes, I just barely got home from there. From the weekend, so there's plenty of people.
Oh, okay. I think I've driven past it, but I blinked, so I must have missed. Did I miss it?
Oh, stop it.
Is it slightly bigger than Rachel?
It's bigger than Cedar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sit down on that one, Miss King of the World over there.
Oh, no, I'm not. The only time I've actually been through Kingman is from Boulder, and then through Kingman, and then to Phoenix.
Yeah.
So, like,
Yeah, that's.
but I
And if
did
you
it
take-
mostly at night.
And you're right. If you take that road, you don't see a lot of the town.
No, like
No, you
you
just-
kind of cut the corner.
You cut the corner. Cut the corner. Get on I-40 and Kingman.
No, and I have
Look,
some really good friends that live in Kingman. I just couldn't help.
Do we have an airport called the Andy Devine Airport? No, we do not. Kingman does.
All right.
They
We
do
have
indeed.
we don't even, our airport isn't even named, is it?
Just the Cedar City Regional Airport.
How do we change that?
Maybe we could name it after Tim and get him off my
Right.
back. I sit on the
Yes.
airport board. I'm
Hey, hey.
gonna bring that up.
Dr.
The
T.
Dr.
Regional
T
Airport, I
Regional
like it.
Airport.
Right,
I
but
like it a lot.
I'm pretty sure DTC is already, taken.
DTRC though.
DTRC?
I think it has to be
Maybe.
three.
3 letters.
I think it's only 3 letters. Anyways,
Well, that
back
doesn't-
to economic
wait,
development.
Wait a minute. That doesn't make any difference because the 3-letter thing for our airport is CDC, and I'm thinking those letters are also used by someone else.
They can't be.
Centers for Disease Control.
No, for an airport code specifically.
Okay, well, who else has DRT?
I'm thinking it would be either...
Maybe Detroit. Maybe Detroit.
No, Detroit's
Detroit's something else.
CET.
Yeah. Who knows? I'll look it up later. Although the pusher, if he was listening, would be able to provide us all the
How is
airport
the
codes.
pusher?
Very good. He has transitioned to a different position, and he is loving life right now.
Same group or a different group?
Completely different group.
Okay, so we don't get the side benefits anymore.
No, unfortunately, we've lost that benefit. But in better news, we are going to talk about economic development with Mike Bleak. And what is coming to Cedar, what's
Still
going on in Cedar.
Still haven't got off the radio station thing, but okay, we'll let Mike be out there with us here.
I know, I'm sorry. But guess what? Mike
Did they
has
still-
so much information. Like, it's incredible how much
Well,
Mike...
do they still own the place down there, or did they get rid of it?
For now, they still own it.
Oh, but they're selling it?
Working on it.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
So there's still some opportunity there. Go and talk to them. It's amazing when you pick up a phone, who answers, and how many good conversations you can have.
That's true. Okay, economic development.
No, you're good. Mike, how you been?
I've been good. Good.
A lot of...
it's
Well, no, Iron County has sustained a lot of different changes over the last 30 days, if not the last 2 weeks, that
Yeah, that's
have
amazing.
directly impacted a lot of families.
We have the solar thing coming, is that right?
We have an additional solar. Yes, we have an additional solar farm coming. The groundbreaking for that was held last week. That is I'm terrible with names. I mentioned this before, but the COVID stole my name database. Like, I can't remember the names of things or people, which is fine. But
You meet new people every day.
well, and I might know your name now and not in 5 minutes, and there's no explanation, but it's fine. So we do, yeah. The latest project for solar is the Appaloosa Solar project that then it's out off of Lund Highway. The groundbreaking for that just took place.
And it's just west of the Williams place, correct?
Yes.
So then they've paved that road additionally. So Lund Highway used to be all the way paved to Lund.
Yes.
Until I believe the early 90s, maybe the late 90s, when they tore all the pavement up because it was too much money to maintain.
Right.
So now it seems like as we're developing and becoming bigger and bigger, they're repaving exactly as much as they need.
We went out to the Three Peaks
Recreation.
I kind of call it the water park that's out there, sort of, kind of, because it kind of is.
Oh, the water luge, yeah.
And we went out there and go, oh, this needs to be used more. I really like what they have out there.
Well, and they've I think that's been established for 4 years, and over the last 4 or 5 years, they've gradually increased all the different activities.
Yeah.
The problem with Cedar is, and everybody will say this, okay, we're really hot and really good temperatures from late June to the end of July. After that, we can't rely on the weather. We can't rely on temperature.
Well, they had an
So
event out there on
outdoors.
the Labor Day weekend that seemed pretty good.
Right, but that's towards the
I
risky
get
part.
it.
I've seen snow
But-
on the 4th of
Oh,
July.
no, I have too, but
No, that's fine. Go.
where I grew up was a mountain town, and we had winter, pretty good, but during the summer we had a lake, and I lived like a block away from the lake, and that's where we were all summer long. And I know we got Lake on the Hill, which is cool, not gunning it down,
No.
but I like out there because they got the slides, and they got the little things you can play in the water with, and I go, wow, that should just be open all the time. During the summer.
I would think that the private investors behind that would want that type of model.
If they could make money on it, I get that.
Right. Right.
By the
and
way,
it all-
guess who's out of water this morning? That's why I have to drink this.
Oh, your Mountain Dew? Okay, Culligan, I'm calling you out. You gotta get Dr. Teed replaced. Is it the Paces that's still on Culligan here?
As far as I know, yeah.
Yeah,
All
all right, Mr. Pace. We
Okay.
need to get Culligan water.
Solar farm, we
Saying.
love it.
Yes.
What else we got coming on, Mike?
We've got a couple of pretty cool grant opportunities. I guess let me go back just a little bit further. Something that we've been working on here, and it's a statewide project. I don't know how many people are familiar with the come on,
The
this
The
Port-
morning.
Inland
Are we talking about the Port 15?
We're talking about, well, Port 15 is part, but the
Inland Port.
inland port.
Yeah.
Inland Marine, or Inland Port, yes.
The inland port. So the inland port is a project it's been a bit controversial in Salt Lake County as far as infrastructure and
Saying
things like
good morning
that.
is controversial in Salt Lake City these days.
We believe in Iron County that we have a perfect situation for a satellite inland port operation because we have access to rail. We have access to the freeway, and we have access to an airport that can land big planes.
At the Dr. T International.
The Dr. T International.
Yes.
Yeah, he graduated from regional to international.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Right.
Well, we got these
Dream
private
big.
flights, yeah.
Yes, that was very natural progression.
Dream big. We've been working, especially when you're working with a newly formed government agency, there are a lot of hiccups. So, we've got a couple of great companies here that have really kind of picked up the ball on the private side. This has got to be a public-private operation. This isn't something that we in Iron County as the Iron County government or Cedar City or any other entity here can just afford to.
By the way,
So-
we're going to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, by the way, we're going to dump millions of dollars of infrastructure in. We just don't have that kind of a budget. But we've got a couple of great partners, both on the manufacturing side, the leisure side, the agricultural side, that have come together to kind of form a coalition to advise the state and the Inland Port Authority to help them understand what our resources are and what our strengths are.
And I would think that population and or the lack of development or the ability to have new things come in because we don't have existing things there, right? We have a lot of sagebrush and a few roads, but that makes us a primed opportunity because we're not already blueprinted.
We're not already necessarily, we're not already blueprinted in that area, and we have room to be flexible.
Lots of room.
We can look at the needs of our local Iron County businesses who rely on the rail or would like to rely on the rail to grow their businesses, to be able to not only bring in raw materials, but then have a much more efficient way to export their completed goods. And we're primed for that.
And somebody said, or somebody has mentioned to me also, that we are primed for trucking as well because we're basically 7 hours from everywhere.
Absolutely. We've seen this with a couple of companies who have already built here that are traditionally from the East Coast or Midwest, because we are literally, 6 hours from Los Angeles, 10 hours from Denver. We can reach basically anywhere in the western United States in a day's drive.
Which is really competitive for trucking because of the trucking laws and things. So if you had a
I
manufacturing
guess that
plant
includes
here
Casper, Wyoming, but why would you go there?
for the snow
And the wind.
and the wind.
Yes.
Okay. But you go into like the greater aspects of like the flow of a product. If you had a warehouse here and it needed raw materials from the rail, and then distributing those completed products or the next step of those products from the rail to a trucking facility, like from truck and or back to the rail to transport it back to a coastal port,
Yes.
and then finishing those products somewhere else. We're kind of a good, I'm going to say a median in between.
Absolutely. I think we're a perfect place for a transload facility that we can offload raw materials, and we can pretty much push out any material. But also, we've got a lot of places here that have a finished product, and to be able to get our local products out into the world is
And
awesome.
I do want to do a quick plug for agriculture on this.
Absolutely.
The last time that we shipped cows by rail from Lund, I believe 1 or 2 producers in town remember that day, and it was in the early 70s. That was the last time we shipped live hoof on the rail. But think of the trucking costs that we could save and or combined efforts on in getting live hoof on the rail and to the Midwest, because it would be more efficient.
No, we wouldn't have to go to London to do that now, though, would we?
No.
I guess we could.
Well, one would think that the development coming in further into town would assist in those efforts. What happens with the rail system is we are the only, now Mike, correct me when I'm wrong, I just happen to be from Iron County and I know a little bit about like the rails. We have the only rail spur that comes in from Las Vegas and Salt Lake.
Right.
Like it comes into the 15. There's towns along the rail system. You have Caliente, Nevada. You have
Modena.
Milford. You have Modena. You have those little towns, but nothing that has a direct artery, is what I'm going to call it,
Right.
into the trucking system, which would be any of the 15 or any of the interstates.
Right.
So
Right.
Cedar City is primely placed, and that's why we haven't ever allowed the rail to stop
right.
coming into town. And there's been prime manufacturing that have used the rails since the late 80s, I
I'd say
believe.
the late 80s, yeah.
Because I think it was Gore before it was Genpack,
It was
right?
Gore before Genpack. They manufactured store fixtures.
Right, and they needed things off the
And they
rail to
needed
make
things-
sure that, those were produced. And so it's really a hidden secret that's becoming less hidden in this greater idea of the inland port.
Now, question for Mike on this: with the inland port or the satellite branch of the inland port that we're hoping for Port 15, that's not necessarily, or is it going to bring possible manufacturing jobs to the area?
Oh, it would absolutely bring manufacturing jobs to the area. With expanded rail access, we're really looking at a growth in that manufacturing realm. Another cool thing that we have here in Iron County is we've got an economic development board that consists of folks from the government as well as people from private industry, and we really like to. We've kind of set the standard for companies coming in. We want to see companies that are a good fit for our community, not just anybody that moves in. We want to look at communities, and we go out and try and recruit companies that are a good fit for the community. water consumption is a big deal to make sure that
that's actually a minus for us right now, isn't it?
it is. It is.
We live in the high desert, guys. We've
We-
never had water.
Right. And so, but we want to look at companies who pay a competitive wage, so that people coming in can afford to live in our area, which is becoming harder and harder. But the water's a big deal. But when we have, a transload facility that's going to draw in a lot more manufacturing, that are in turn going to provide good paying jobs here in our community.
And it's really exciting too, because all of this is happening. I mean, for all the listeners, if you are involved or not, they've developed this economic team. They've called it, I think it's called VIC, through a few different arms of things, but there are 7 committees, and I'm sure that you know somebody on one of those committees. And if you have any concerns about the economic development or you have a voice, please reach out, put it on Facebook, say, hey, I have an opinion about this, and somebody will contact you regarding those different teams.
I have a concern, Mike, and maybe you can address this. And it's one of the greatest puzzles that I just did. I can't remember the specific author of the article, but I just read. You say use the term that's going to be bringing in good paying jobs, which I think is great. But I'm starting to see in the generations coming up that we don't care. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. More and more, the biggest challenge is to get people to come to work, not necessarily for a good paying job, but just to show up for work. I think the key in these manufacturing jobs is to make sure that we have companies that have a culture that fits in with our local community, that not only provides a paycheck, but provides some other amenities that are hopefully attract workers and keep them there. I think more and more it's important that companies treat their employees well, and that there's some other perks just besides a paycheck. And those are all something that, that's something that we try to address and look for those entities that are going to be a good fit in our community, not just necessarily providing a paycheck.
Speaking personally, from my mind, and what I'm sensing as I read, some of the articles are out there, where I'm getting more and more concerned with a company that provides a good, what they call work-life balance. And I think that's going to be a key for attracting people to come into the workplace too.
Sure, and speaking, of Iron County as an entity that employs over 200 people, that's been something that's really been important to us as commissioners. Our department heads, other elected officials, our human resource department is really trying to strike a balance instead of maybe the traditional way of work, and you're going to be here 8 hours and and that type of a thing. We as an entity are really trying to find a way to help our employees strike that balance, that good work and life balance, because we realize how important it is to keep our employees. The cost of turnover is huge, and to be able to provide the best services for our taxpayers, it's really important for us to try and evolve and really help our employees be happy both outside of the job as well as at work.
So in the last few minutes of the show, Mike, I wanted to kind of switch gears and do a very selfish type of promotion. I have been selected to do Community Dancing with the Stars this year and this season. The performance is on November 15th. I know, and it's for the Children's Justice Center, which I know you're heavily involved in. Can you kind of give us a run through of what to expect and why you should purchase tickets?
Absolutely. So, Iron County Children's Justice Center, this is our 20th anniversary. And when I say our, the Iron County Children's Justice Center is a facility that is utilized by law enforcement as well as victim families. This is where the children have an opportunity to have a voice, to disclose different types of abuse, whether it be physical, whether it be domestic violence, whether it be sexual. It is a fantastic facility. The CJC roots started the same time I got into investigations with Cedar City Police Department. We literally, the closet across the hall became the office of the Children's Justice Center. It evolved from there.
Oh, we're done.
Oh,
We're on time. Sorry, finish your thought.
Okay, it evolved into what it is today, where we provide both medical care, we provide mental health care, we provide resources for victims advocacy. The main fundraiser for that is Dancing with the Community Stars. Last year we were able to raise over $100,000.
Wow.
So this year we're trying to raise a little bit more. So please reach out to me. I'm your local Farm Bureau financial agent and host of Wired Wednesday. This is McKenna Hansen. You can reach me at 435-592-2021 to purchase your tickets. It's $15 per person or $50 for a family of 4, which means you save $10. We are also seeking sponsorships anywhere from $250 to $1,000. Please reach out. I will be visiting all of my friends in the business world, so please watch out for me. I'm McKenna Hansen, your local Farm Bureau financial agent.
And just remember, 3 words: Dr. T, International Airport.
Yes, 4. That's 4 words.
I count Dr. T as well. So.
Perfect.
All right, one last time.